Hey, good evening, Top fans. It's Bill from TopFanRivalry, and this is going to be a fun one. We've got a ladies' night, and we should have been filming the pregame to this. I tell you what, it's gotten a little exciting already. So we got Cathy in the house, and she'll tell you about her team, and we've got a couple of questions for her. Sarah is in the house. Sarah's back with us. She just did a podcast recently, and apparently y'all really liked it because it's hit off pretty well. And Jamye, who just finished an article about the lockout that was on the website today. That's pretty awesome. So ladies, let's have some fun.
Hey, let's go.
Woo, woo.
Right.
Okay. So Cathy, we're going to start with you. Give us a quick intro and tell us your favorite team.
Okay, so grew up in Southern California my whole life, moved recently to Idaho. And my favorite team is the Angels. And I will tell you that the only thing I miss from California is my baseball team. Like literally the only thing.
Okay. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Sarah?
What's up, guys? I'm Sarah. I'm from Long Island, and I am the biggest Mets fan ever. They have a special place in my heart and always will, no matter how they're playing or how many injuries they seem to get.
Yeah.
I actually really like them. So I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Apparently, Sarah, I just heard today you guys are bringing the old timers game back.
Yes.
And somebody was like, "Yes, but can we get a season?"
Yeah,
seriously,
you're asking for too much.
Yeah, I know.
You're being greedy.
There you go. There you go. Exactly. And you guys have heard some of Sarah's awesome stories about Shea Stadium, about Citi Field, and I'm actually looking forward to getting back to New York and going to a game with you, Sarah. This is going to be fun.
There's going to be a lot of drinking.
On you. I don't drink, but I'll let you do that.
Look, you got a designated driver.
Yes.
Yeah, I can be your DD for you. Jamye, tell us about you.
Jamye Wagner, also known as @TFR Dodger fan on Instagram and Facebook. Sorry for the plug. My favorite team was the San Francisco Giants, but I came to a better understanding of life, and now I'm not a Dodgers fan.
We call Jamye a convert Dodger fan. We love it, right? We love the fact that she got away from the hated Giants.
Hey,
Giants kicked ass last year, so let's.
I know, but that's because they were playing Dodger baseball. So
yeah, how'd that playoff thing go, Cathy? Wait,
for which team? For the Dodgers?
Yeah, hold on a second, Cathy. The playoffs is like after the season. This isn't an Angel thing.
First of all, a 2020 World Series is half of a season, so you can have half of a ring. First of all, and secondly, the last time you guys won, like there wasn't even internet. That's how.
Is it getting hot in here?
The last time we won it, there wasn't even internet.
Wow.
Okay, so let's just
playoff series that the Angels. Never mind, we won't go there. Okay,
let's just keep this civil.
It's been a long time. This is my year. If we could just play some baseball, this is my year.
This is your year. Okay,
that's not going to happen.
Jamye,
I do say this every year.
Article, what would you change?
Oh, the
Jamye,
lockout?
if you were in charge, what would you change with this lockout?
I would institute Thunderdome. Totally. Like, let's just put Manfred in with the Players Association, people, and let's just, a few men enter and no Manfred leaves. So let's do it. I'm done. I am so done with
I am too.
The negotiations being a stalemate, them not even going through and even doing anything for how many months? I mean, how many months has this been? And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we need a federal mediator. No, you should have known that from day one. No.
I agree.
Back off.
So Cathy, you agree. What would you do differently?
I totally agree with her. I think that they knew December 2nd that obviously that was when the lockout started. There's no reason that we waited until February 2nd to start proceedings to negotiate. It's all crap. I think that if you're going to do it, I understand that agreements have to be in place, and I totally understand that. But this is greed. This is like when it's all said and done, this is greed. Oh, yeah. And this is like billionaires versus millionaires is what this is. And it's sick. It's terrible. Nobody wins in this.
This is a business. right?
Mhm.
But the business is only successful if fans go to the games.
Thank you.
Yes.
So
Oh my goodness. my
at the
point
end of the
exactly.
day, you're only causing your own demise. So
Yes.
quite
This girl's
frankly,
smart.
get in a room, make a decision, because players can't play if there's no games.
Preach
Owners
it.
Right.
can't make money or ROI, because that's all they seem to care about. Or to
And
say
what's
that
with like
Yeah.
the 30-minute meetings, by the way? Like
Yeah.
we're gonna sit and talk for 30 minutes and then that's it. And then
Yeah.
we can't agree. Like, you know what? You're sitting in this room and you're not leaving this room until a decision is made.
I think
That's
a
what you're
fan
doing.
needs to go in and filibuster this. Like seriously.
Right? This is
I'm sending the
ridiculous.
three
You're
of you
talking
in.
like
I'll call Manford tomorrow and say I got 3 people. You guys
we
can
would
walk
have
out with
this
the deal.
done. We would have had this done on December 3rd.
I mean, I hate to say it, but never send a man in to do a woman's job.
Oh, amen.
Exactly.
Amen. Like really, when it comes to like they just need, all of their hands need to be slapped and said, okay,
agree.
fine. Just deal with
I
it.
agree.
But let's just come to an agreement. I'm done with this. I really am.
Boys, I can't even defend us here. The girls are right up this one. I can't
For
even.
sure.
I can't even.
It's like
And-
when they said that they needed a mediator. It's like I kept posting like, Mom, they're not playing nice with me. Come out here and yell at them for me, please. It's like, no, stop
Right,
it.
and
Be
At
men.
the end of the day, like every other league that's gone through a lockout in the last 10 years has all come back and said the same thing. We're losing money,
Yeah,
so we
Right.
have to play.
exactly.
Well, now I wonder too, though, like when this, because I do think it'll get resolved, obviously. But at what expense? I don't
Mhm.
know. I mean, is it? I think like I had spring training tickets. I forgoed those. I literally called and canceled, and I'm not. When we go out to spring training, that is to see everybody when everyone's happy and fun. There's no standings.
gonna
There's
have that
no,
this year.
no one's keeping.
No.
Right. So I was like, I'm done. I'm not. Why am I gonna waste my money to go out when they can't even have a meeting longer than an hour?
Yeah. And I was going to go to
Ridiculous.
spring training. That was going to be my birthday gift. And, this just, it's a bummer. This is really depressing.
It is. It's terrible. And and now what do we have until like, what did they say? February 28th or March 1st? Every article I read kind of like fluctuates on the day, but if they don't have it
Yeah.
figured out by then now you have opening day in jeopardy.
Yep.
And also, quite frankly, if you look at it from just a business standpoint, you already lost so much money with COVID the last 2 years.
2020. Yeah.
Thank you.
Like your state, you're an owner. You care, and a lot of our owners have also invested into the arenas that they play at.
Yep.
So how are you not looking at this and going, I lost money in 2020. I lost money in 2021, because depending on what state you were in, you can only have fully vaccinated people there.
Totally.
And half the stadium wasn't fully vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
You can barely like keep a staff because you can't afford to pay them.
And
Now
also
you're gonna waste
half of
more
them
money.
are quitting because they're not vaccinated. So, how can you
Right.
keep a staff if they don't want to be vaccinated, which is a totally different topic. But I mean, it's all of these things that it's just like, come on, put your big boy pants on, go in the room, talk it out, even if you have to throw
Right.
some punches, but get the job done. I'm done. It's just, it's so stupid.
Even the arenas, the ballparks for spring training.
I know.
They make their money for the entire year off spring training.
Yes.
I actually looked that up too. It was talking about, and so I don't know about Florida, but like in the Cactus League, like you're talking like $400 million for the state of Arizona in a span of like 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks. It's like,
It's crazy.
it's just, it's sad. It's not just like these little bit, it's the VRBOs, it's the Airbnbs, it's the hotels, it's the restaurants, it's all these people that at the end of the day, these millionaires are still going to be millionaires and the billionaires are still going to be billionaires. But what about everybody else? The people that make, the fans make this sport, right? That
Yes.
if there's no fans, you have no, what are you going to have? You don't have, that's the thing. It's like, and everyone's forgetting these fans, and whether you're, a longtime fan or you're a fan that just discovered a team that you like, or you're a 5-year-old kid that goes to the game for the first time. It's like, it's just really sad. I hate it. And it's greed is bad. This is what this is greed.
It really is, because really they're hurting the fans, and really the fans have no stake in this. They can't go into these meetings and be like, hey, this is our side of things. No, it's just owners wanting more money, and not wanting to pay their players their worth, and then kind of stifling them so that they can't move up so they can get their worth. And then it is so convoluted. So something needs to budge. I was talking to Bill earlier. Something needs to budge with them. And I think it's going to be what did I say, Bill? It was
Free agency.
the free agencies. I think that's where it's going to budge.
I mean, let's be realistic. In regards to just athletes in general, they're going to have longer careers because we're tending to age a little gracefully as the years go on. Like, you can actually still play in your 40s.
Yeah.
So
what, baseball or sports in general?
Well, really sports in general, but I would say baseball.
Look at Cologne. Look at Cologne. How old is he?
Right.
Year old pitcher.
If this is such a sticky wicket for them, no offense, get over it. Because it's going to be an issue in another 5 years.
Right.
Well, I mean,
so
people they're physically better conditioned now.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a problem.
Here's the sad part, ladies, right? Is so they can go in a room tomorrow, like Cathy says, for a half hour and hammer it out, or Manfield can go away and the three of you can go in and hammer out a deal. The problem is then you've got to get the lawyers involved, and the lawyers got to put it on paper, and then everybody's got to agree to what's being put on paper. Once you do that, that process is a 3 to 4 week process. You are not, even though you agree to things in terms, you still got to put it on paper.
Yeah.
And I'm not convinced that's, I'm already thinking that we're going to lose some games.
Do you think there's going to be a strike?
Yes.
Do you think we'll get that far? So you think, because see, that's the thing is like, I kind of look at it like when you have the owners, right, that have locked the players out and they can't go, whatever, it almost kind of puts it in the player's favor a little bit, because, you know, as a fan who we are going there to see the players, you know, we feel sorry for them. And I mean, to an extent, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't feel sorry for somebody that's making millions and millions of dollars playing baseball.
But with social media, we don't.
No.
I mean, fandom has changed in a sense.
Right.
I'm more of a fan of the team and less of the players, because I don't really like the fact that players are making a gazillion dollars for swinging a bat and then throwing their money in Cancun with strippers. No offense, and then putting it on social media. Like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I love my team. I don't love every player on the team.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
This is
so you're getting to know them more in their personal lives, which I'm sure we're going to talk about more later.
Yes.
Well, some of us might know their personal life.
There you go. Do chirp chirp. Okay, so who are the real losers then?
The fans.
The fans, and I will even say like the employees. So whether you work at a stadium or the surrounding areas of, you know, whatever stadium it is or whatever spring training facility you go to. Yeah, I definitely think it's a lot more. And fans for sure. Like, I think by far the first and foremost would be the fans. But then when you if you're going into the money side of it and businesses, it's like everyone's just barely recovering from COVID and losing their businesses in COVID. And now, you know, you got this hit. It's all for what? Yeah. So we can make $615,000 a year for league minimum versus what is it now? 575, 550, something like that. It's like, this is a joke.
It's nothing.
So there are some people in the MLB that I'm not fans of, but that make millions.
Trevor Bauer.
I'm sure we'll bring him up. But even if take Trevor Bauer, for example, if he said, you know, I want to donate X number of dollars to the Dodger employees, the people that work at the stands or work at the stadium, dude, I love that. I mean, that would win me over. You're talking about people that are making minimum wage. Now, granted, in California, minimum wage is now like $18, but even still, if Trevor Bauer said, I'm making $30 million this year, I'm going to donate $5 million to the people that work at the stadium to give them
I'm still not putting my daughter in his jersey.
We will get to that. We will get to that.
Don't worry, I don't think most women are going to his jersey.
You know what? Let's take on that topic. So, Top fans, if you're listening to this, today is the day that it came out that Trevor Bauer is not going to have charges filed against him. We are going to talk about the Hall of Fame in a second, but It came out today. They're not
MLB
gonna...
still now MLB has to finish their investigation, right?
Correct.
Exactly.
Because I haven't seen any. I haven't read anything yet.
Ladies, tell me about it. What do you guys think?
Who wants to go first?
I mean, I have no problem kicking this off because I just worked in the industry, the sports industry in general. On his innocent side, if we're gonna play that card, this is not the first time people have come out with very descriptive claims against athletes. They are an easy target on this because no one wants bad PR. On the side that he's guilty, sweetheart, you were not hugged enough as a child, and I suggest therapy.
Right, lots of therapy.
Extensive therapy. If this is, I mean, if you're an athlete, if you're somewhat famous, if you have a following, if you are public on Instagram, do yourself a favor and stop putting yourself in a situation that is going to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
if
here's
you
the
are-
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now put yourself, okay, so let's say that MLB comes back. I don't know how long that investigation will take, but let's say that MLB comes back and says,
Hopefully less than the lockout.
right, and says, hey, okay, we agree with whatever the investigation concluded, and we're going to go ahead and allow him to play, right? So let's just say that he gets to pitch. I'm just talking crazy, but let's say he goes out and pitches next year or this year. So now,
If there is a
how do
year.
fans react? Right. How do the fans react to that? As a woman, how do you, as a fan, is your daughter wearing a Bauer jersey? Are you, is everyone coming to like with teeth marks on their necks and like bruises on their face? I mean, it's just like Bauer night where we're like, like what? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
So as a female Dodger fan, I
love him as a pitcher. I just want you to know, I think he's an amazing pitcher. I
have always stuck to this, to this position with him is innocent until proven guilty. We know how, and this is speaking as a female, we know how females can twist things to suit their own need. I saw it in the Navy and many, many times. So, to say that she's completely without fault here is kind of ridiculous. But
I don't think she's without fault for sure.
So, but to put this all on Trevor and to say, well, he made a bad decision. Well, we've all made bad decisions. And yes, I think from this point on, I think any sports person, or any really big famous personality should know never to get crazy with a chick off the internet. It's just bad juju.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this though. Say he goes and plays, right? And they allow him back in, everything is good and golden. And he does it again. And now we have another girl that comes out. Let's just say for this year. At what point do we stop? And I'm not trying to victim shame, right? Like I want to believe that she said stop and he took it a step too far. Not to say that that's in, there is a line that was crossed for sure. Whether or not she asked for it, whether or not he gave it to her. Well, he gave it to her, but like, there was a line
home run on that one.
He did hit a home run. But like you're talking about, I mean, at least what I've read in what he was accused of. And again, it says that he's not being charged, so then at what point, how hard is it to actually prove, okay, hey, I said no, he said yes, and he did it anyway. And he said that I want it. I mean, like that would be so hard to prove.
Here's the one thing I can say. And if you listen to my conversation with Bill, I've firsthand accounts of what this world is like. If you are an athlete, not only do you have your own personal team, you have the team's team. These things are never figured out in court.
No,
they're always settled. There is a reason why they are always settled. And also, if you are the woman that comes out and says, let's assume this is actually all true and he did all these things, she is always going to be known as this. She'll be the Monica Lewinsky of this.
Jennifer Flowers,
Like that's what it's going to be.
It's true.
Yeah,
you're right.
It's very true.
if she's lying, she's making you're choosing for the rest of your life to be identified as the girl that got punched in the lady parts.
Yes.
By a pitcher.
Yeah.
That is the legacy you have chosen to make for yourself, which is why she would also need therapy if it was a lie.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm sure the book deal that she's going to get is going to be amazing.
I was just going to say that. I totally think she'll get a book deal. Okay, so let's just say for conversation's sake that she obviously put in writing what she would like to have done to her, and he accommodated. Okay, so because in his defense, he's like, dude, this is what she said. I did it. What's the big deal? She was consenting. Clearly, she asked me for it. Here's the thing: like when it's all said and done, like I have 3 boys, and do I want that stigma now? Because he's now the guy that loves to punch a woman in her vagina when she's passed out. Like, or did he punch her in the face? Like, I don't know where those bruises came from. They came from somewhere. I'm not saying they came from him, but they came from somewhere. And if he did them, like we're saying, we're kind of giving her the benefit of the doubt. We're getting him the benefit of the doubt. So let's, if she is going after him because he's an athlete and he has money and she has the potential to have money, well, then we can have the conversation that he had the potential to actually physically harm her too.
Oh, yeah.
And those are hard conversations to have. And I don't know how you put that guy back in a dugout and not be a cancer in the dugout.
And we're seeing that in the dugout, in the clubhouse. We're definitely seeing that with the Dodgers. And, Mookie Betts has been very vocal about not wanting him back in the clubhouse. So it's just, I think there was another person, but I can't remember who was just kind of vocal about it.
So as a guy, even if she put like in writing, here's what I want, like he should know there's too much risk involved. This is a hard
where did his common sense go?
Yeah.
Well, I know where it went.
Well, and also, here I go again. It's just like, come on, Trevor, you got into trouble in your last team with something very, very, very similar to this.
Very similar.
Why are you going to go and do this again with someone you do not know, that you cannot trust?
At what point does he
He's 31 years old.
Oh, my kitty.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's my cat Bogey. You can follow him on Instagram.
At what point do you say, hey, listen, dude, okay, the fight, you touch the stove and the flame is on and you burn your hand, you don't touch the stove again.
I completely agree with you on that one. That I wrote a very, very good article about this whole entire situation when it first came out. It was just like, hey, let's talk about Trevor Bauer. And you know what? If he did something wrong, then he needs to own up to it and be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But if he didn't do anything, then we need to move on. Like, really.
So we move on. Does he go back in and play? Is that moving on?
But here's the other thing though. You are 31 years old. You are too old to be making the mistakes of a girl DMing you.
And that's why I don't think he should be playing anymore. That's why I don't think that he should be
like, and I know that there's the excuse of men mature slower than women. I've dated all of them. I'm fully aware that they do. I understand that, but I'm sorry. You're a professional athlete for this many years and you're a grown ass man.
Right.
And you think it's an okay idea?
It's not the first vagina he's seen.
She seems hot. I'm just gonna go, her brain's out and she'll be okay with a punch in the vajayjay.
Right.
Yeah. So Cathy, you've already made a good point, but Sarah, let me ask you this. MLB lets him in. MLB says he lets him in. He plays this year with the Dodgers. By the way, if you follow his Instagram, he actually showed pictures of him warming up in his workout place like a month and a half ago.
The dude needs to work out a little more. I'm just gonna go ahead and
but the flag
in the background that said 2022 Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah.
But Sarah, let me ask you this. So 2023, he's out of his contract and he goes to the New York Mets. Yes or no?
Ooh.
No.
How do you feel about it?
I say no. So, I say no for my team as well.
Yeah.
And but here's why though. It's not just the accusation.
Right.
It's everything else.
He keeps touching the flame.
Yeah. And it's one thing if it was one time or one accusation.
Right.
Or if he was 22.
Yeah, if he was 20 and it's the first time he saw a vagina, maybe I
it's
could
just
try to understand, but you're
and also-
31 and how many times are you going to do this?
And baseball is not like other sports. It's not like the NFL or the NBA where like being a player is attractive.
No,
It's a family-friendly sport.
And
sure.
with the Dodgers, it's a very familial atmosphere there
Thank
too,
you.
because we've had
100%.
I've talked to people who worked with the Dodgers, and they're just like, no, it is a family. We are all a family. Everyone who works at Dodger Stadium, to the team, to the announcers, we're all a family. We get it.
I mean,
I'll even highlight a player that I hate because he was a Yankee. Derek Jeter.
I knew you were going to say Jeter. Why did I know you were going to say Jeter?
No one can say a bad word about him because he kept his private life private. He didn't get married till after he was done playing because he didn't want it to be compromised in a romantic situation. And that was before social media.
And
I think Trevor Bauer is cocky, and I think that he will continue doing what he's doing because he doesn't learn his lesson.
But here's the precedent that we're going to be setting. So here is something that should have been kept private between a consenting male and a consenting woman. And I'm just going to leave it at that, regardless of how people feel. But that should have stayed in the bedroom. That should have never gone out to the public. And I think to just I keep saying it, like, I don't kink shame. If someone likes BDS,
I totally agree with you.
Like, fine. Thank you. If someone likes that, whatever.
Don't ask why I know that though.
But
that's a conversation for after when we're offline.
Yeah, right. I agree with you. If they were two consenting persons in that room and they were asking each other to do things that both of them were consenting to, then that's between them.
Right. But
he's not in trouble because, he likes it a little freaky and she likes it a lot freaky, but like, that's not why he's in trouble. But I'm upset that like, you're going to put somebody like him back on not you personally, but like the potential to like put somebody like him back on the field where kids are looking up to him. Little boys are looking up to him. And I just don't want it to be where, Trevor Bauer never got in trouble, and again, it's, I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying he's not guilty. I'm just saying that there's a pattern and it is repeating and he doesn't learn.
Yeah.
So
no,
Cathy,
and I totally get where you're coming from, Cathy, because yes, he is a role model. So it comes to that whole point, like, what are we going to do with him? Because we still have a buttload of money on him. And it's just like, so what do? Do we just like sit him in the dugout and just be like, yeah, you're not pitching, or do we actually utilize his arm,
I can tell you, Bill, like if let's say that Trout, some crazy allegation came out or whatever like this, because first of all, it wouldn't, but like, let's just say for conversation's sake that it did, right? I would, first of all, I'd cry because I would be so incredibly sad that all
he wasn't
these
baseball
kids,
ready. Yeah, get it?
Right? Like, I would be devastated and I would not be a fan. I would really not be a fan of his anymore if that came out. If something came out to where he did that to a woman.
The one thing we should also mention is that Trevor is using his arm, just not the way we want him to be using it.
Yes.
Second of all.
Bang.
Yeah. Second of all, there's also then the question of ethics and morals in a business environment.
Yeah.
And we can look at broadcast channels like NBC and Fox, who've all had, and CNN, who've all had to go through things like this. Do you keep someone that's do you cut the cancer out?
That's a really great point. Yeah.
I think you cut him out. I think that he has to learn his lesson. If some other team wants to take a chance on him, well, then that's on them. And then you're going to have to face the fans after that on top of it. So now you have parents
to come out with a therapist and like literally say, I am in therapy.
And I've had a full lobotomy. Yes.
He would have to go like David Duchovny and like, hey, I cheated on my wife. I mean, I'm a sex addict. And now I need to go to like, he needs to like some serious therapy of what he did. And then I think if he chose, if he did that and actually like appeal to the fans, like, hey, I'm learning. What I did was, even though we were consenting, I could see, like, it's kind of like with the Astros. It's like they cheated, but no one felt bad about it.
No.
They were like, oh yeah, well,
Listen,
that happened.
he's not Bill Clinton. He did have sexual relations with this woman.
Right. Right.
Oh, I
he
like
just
you,
is
Sarah.
wearing the blue dress on the face and not in her closet.
Exactly.
So Cathy, let me ask you this one question. We're going to switch topics.
Yeah.
One of your boys, okay,
Mhm.
and any one of your boys comes home from a baseball game wearing a Trevor Bauer jersey. What do you do?
First of all, they would never walk through my door wearing a Dodger jersey.
Hypothetical, woman. Hypothetical.
Hypothetically,
Wow.
they wouldn't. Okay, I'll put it like this. My son has one of my kids. He's 17. Actually, 16 is going to be 17, and he has a sweatshirt and it says "I Heart MILFs." Okay,
Oh, no.
He is not allowed to wear that sweatshirt out of this house ever.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, I would just like bury that sweatshirt in the backyard and pretend that he never had it, but that's just me.
Please tell me that he didn't
See,
get
I'll
it
be
from
all
any.
choked up.
Please tell me he didn't get it from anybody in the family.
Oh my God, no! He ordered it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I would have had him over my knee and spanking.
I also have an older son that I don't know how he got the sweatshirt, but it says Pain Hub instead of Pornhub. And he gave that to my 14-year-old, and that was not going to happen.
No.
Awesome.
No.
Awesome.
No.
So I put that Bauer Dodger jersey right up there with that Pain Hub sweatshirt. Not happening.
Rough crowd. Best part about what she said is they would not wear a Dodger jersey in my house.
Yes.
Never. They wouldn't come home. They wouldn't even walk in the door.
So
would
just for
literally
fun,
not walk through
Sarah,
the door.
we need to go to a Yankee Mets game. I'll show up in a Yankee hat.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No.
All right.
No.
No.
I'll say something about that. No.
Okay, I have
Nope.
to go in 5 minutes though, for real.
Okay. All right. So let's go to the last topic. I was trying to get us to the last topic. David Ortiz was voted into the Hall of Fame. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame. There's a little bit of controversy right now, right? Steroids, not steroids.
So torn on this issue.
Yes, there's a Hall of Very Good. We're going to do a podcast here soon with the Hall of Very Good. You ladies are welcome to join. We've got about 5 guys that want to join in on this. This would be great. Sarah, if we have you on for that, I want you to say never send a woman in, or never send a man in to do a woman's job.
Do a woman's job. You got it.
So you see how that works. Hall of Fame. So start us out, Sarah. David Ortiz. I don't care.
All right.
Who's missing?
So here's the
Pete
thing.
Rose.
I want Barry Bonds.
Okay.
I do. For me, the Hall of Fame, in my personal opinion, when you think of a name and you think baseball, one of the first names I learned as a kid was Barry Bonds. It was just, and also in the climate we are in, I think he fits a couple other check marks without throwing it out there too clearly. When it comes to David Ortiz and the whole steroid thing, listen, he wasn't Jose Canseco. There's different levels.
Is a little bit of wrong the same as a lot of it wrong?
I think the way I look at it, steroids is a very broad term. Okay, there are different types of steroids. There are ways of getting steroids. The science of steroids also changed significantly. Maybe because I'm also myself very much in that gym rat world. I hear it and I see it more, and I'm learning even more as I grow in my own athletic career, so to speak, what certain steroids do and how they work. If the laws were a little different 30, 40 years ago, maybe I'd have a harder decision line than I do right now.
It just made me feel so old.
Well, I'm not even trying to say about anyone, just the way the world has changed so much, and performing enhancing drugs have changed so much. That's kind of why I have a hard issue kind of making such a black and white decision. I don't really think it was steroids that made David Ortiz one of the best players in baseball. I don't. I don't think it hurt him, but I don't think it would have made him not one of the best.
Okay.
But I also feel like it's such a fine line over it is a little bit of wrong. It's still wrong, right? So here's the thing. Like Pete Rose, I know you mentioned like Pete Rose, you know, that guy still has more hits than anybody, right? And I get what he bet on baseball, okay? I get it. He at least stood up and owned it. Again, he lied and then owned it, but you know, I don't know. Can we at least give him like a little bit of points for that? He says he didn't do it as a player. He only did it, you know, as a manager. I get that it could throw a game. I understand all the points like about it. And he was punished, right? Hey, no baseball, no more baseball, no Hall of Fame, you're done. So basically everything you did on the field, you just shot yourself in the foot for, right? You should have known better. You broke the rules. Right. Well, there's also a clause in the contract for MLB players with the whole sex and all that good stuff too, right? And abuse and all that thing. So I'm just saying, like, at what point do we say that a little bit of wrong is okay for that guy and a little bit of wrong is okay for that guy, but it's a lot wrong for him and he's banned forever? Like, I just, you know, it's like, look at the Astros players, right? Those guys were all granted immunity. They cheated. Everybody knows they cheated. What they did was wrong.
I think a lot of it just goes back to the fact though of when these decisions were made and the climate, the political sports climate we were in.
Yeah.
It's really hard to determine it in 2022, things that happened in the 80s. I mean, how much changes in 3 years now versus 10 years even.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I even would consider a little bit of wrong versus a lot of wrong. I mean, so let's just do the debate of performance enhancing drugs or gambling. Both are not really great things to do.
I would take
For
gambling.
sure, but they both have an impact of the game. They both affect the integrity of the game.
Which
so
I totally understand.
Whether or not you bang on a trash can, you bet on a game, you take steroids, like they've all are affecting the integrity of the game. And I think when you take everything out and you just boil it down to what it actually is it wrong or right? And what integrity are we keeping and protecting if it's okay for him and not for him?
So let's look at where these performance enhancing drugs even start. I mean, they don't start just in the bigs, you know?
I agree.
So
they start in high schools.
So why are we so focused on the bigs and not stopping it where it starts and building true ball players like they should be, not with performance enhancing drugs? So I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. That's my opinion, but because he's just a fabulous player. But I watched Bonds, his head grow. And I know people who worked for the Giants that said, yes, every single time he had to go up to bat, they had to get him a bigger helmet. So yes, he was doing PEDs for sure. So, and here's where it is. It's just like, what's wrong and what's right, and what should be allowed and what shouldn't be allowed. And I think if you're going to use any type of performance enhancing drugs, no, you're completely out of the running if that's the way it should be. But if you're saying, yeah, go ahead and let Ortiz in, then that opens the door for every single person that has used performance enhancing drugs.
And I will
so maybe it's one of those things though, that if you're gonna, you know, if you remove it as a stigma, right? You say, hey, we're not going to test for it anymore, right? So we're done with testing for it. But if you do it and you're caught or you're found out or you would own it or you admit it or whatever, then maybe, you know, you don't go to the Hall of Fame. Maybe that's your choice. You made the choice to do this, to have more home runs, to have more of this, this stat, that, whatever. But then that's the downside.
It's a trade-off.
So does that apply straight up for number 27 on the Angels too, Cathy?
He would never do that. He doesn't need to do that.
You can.
Okay, so I know, Cathy, you've got to go, but I've got a question for Sarah. So Cathy, any wrap up that you want to say as you're jumping off, and then Sarah and Jamie, we can continue for a few more minutes.
I'm really needing this agreement. I really need them to like seriously like lift their skirts up and find their balls and figure this out.
Yes,
that's what I need.
Perfect. That's a great way to say that.
That's
great way
awesome.
to say that. You would think you were a New Yorker.
I'm not, but I love them.
You're welcome anytime.
Oh, yes. Okay, I do have to go though.
Hey, thanks for
It was
joining,
nice
Cathy.
to meet you girls.
Bye.
We'll do this
Bye.
again, Kath.
Okay, yes,
Okay.
for sure.
So Sarah, let me ask you this question. Okay, so you're talking about bonds, right?
Right.
Let me bring up, and now watch her squirm, Jamie. You watch this. Okay, so Sarah, does Roger Clemens deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Even if he threw a bat at the Frank Sinatra of baseball?
Yes.
Okay.
Because here's why.
Okay. I gotta hear
Oh,
this.
I'm interested.
Mike Piazza
Oh,
is
geez.
so much of a gentleman.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
And also
Goodness.
knows that any wise guy would have his back in a freaking heartbeat. It didn't even matter.
Okay.
Okay. But no, I'm being somewhat serious. And one thing that Jamie brought up that I'm very passionate about, and maybe it's because I've seen what can happen with sometimes overly enthusiastic sport parents. Why do steroids happen? Why does any drug happen? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've pressured your child into becoming a psychopath who's probably feeling so stressed out. The only thing they can think to do is to inject themselves with something to make themselves a better athlete, make them proud of you. It is the same reason why kids are taking Adderall to study.
Yes.
It is the same exact thing.
Yep.
Social media is encouraging people between the ages of 18 and 30 to look like they are models. So what are these people doing? Men and women are taking steroids on the daily. It's just what our world has become. It's about image. Steroids used to be for physical ability. Now they're for visual. That's even worse.
Yeah.
So no offense, throw out the rule book about, oh my God, back in the 80s and 90s, he was taking steroids. Yeah, guess what? Half your players are probably taking them now.
Yeah.
They're just from a different place and have a different name and aren't coming up in your drug screens.
Exactly.
Sorry.
No, so I watched a really good documentary on the Russian, I think it was the cycling team. And he was totally juicing every single person up on his team. And it was like Icarus or something. Was that the name of, I can't remember. And
it was like Kyrian Icarus. It's like a long thing and like abbreviated. It's like this weird sounding itchy word.
Exactly. And I'm just going, these people did not want to have steroids or PEDs injected into them. It's like, come on, like, when does it stop? You know, and the whole thing with Lance Armstrong, and it's just, come on, like, let's just stop it. Let's stop it.
So I'm going to throw out something that I don't know for sure, but I'm going to make a guess, and you girls tell me if I'm on the right track. I think the sports writers were probably told by the veterans committee, you don't vote these guys in. Let us deal with it. We played with them. We played against them.
Yeah.
We're going to let them in, but we want to do it as their former teammates, as their former competitors, not the sports writers. Sarah, you seem to think that you're thinking about that. So what do you think?
You know, it's possible, but not much of a story.
No.
And that's why if I'm a journalist, especially during a lockout right now, what am I going to come up with to write about? This is what I would, as a journalist, this is what I would go after. I might not have a season to write about. So I actually would touch this. I would go ham on this. Doesn't mean that's what happened. I don't know. But personally, I think this is what a journalist would want. And they would want to stir up a ruckus. And also, quite frankly, the less steroids become a whatever thing, the more some of our old timers and not so old timers, you're going to learn we're doing it too.
Oh yeah.
I have a hard time believing that. I mean, remember when it came up that A-Rod did it and the world went psycho?
Oh, yes.
Were we that surprised?
I remember that.
No. It was because he was American
Who
sweetheart.
cares?
No.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, I hate to say it, but like all right, it's legal in the states that we all live in now, so I can say it. Would we be that pissed if one of our players smoked weed?
I'm sure they're doing it.
Well,
Hell, half of them probably should be with all the stress they're dealing with right now.
yeah. Think of how Trevor would have been if he had just smoked a joint, got the munchies, had some dinner, and then went back to his house and didn't even DM that woman back. I mean,
Honestly,
think about it.
Taco Bell punching in the vagina.
I know.
Taco Bell
I know. I would go
punching in the
Taco Bell.
vagina. I don't know.
We're
Well,
gonna go
I wouldn't do
Bell.
Taco Bell. I would totally do Del Taco because they're far
Well,
superior.
we don't have Del Taco.
Oh,
here.
you are missing out. When you come to the West Coast, we'll take you to Del Taco.
I know. I've had Del Taco. It's superior to Taco Bell, but there is something about a cheesy gordita crunch that does do some mysterious things to you when you've had a few too many.
Okay, yeah, you got me
You're
there.
welcome, Taco Bell. We are giving you a free plug. Let's not forget In-N-Out, Sarah. When you make it to the West Coast,
yes.
In-N-Out burger.
But have you had Shake Shack?
Yes,
Of course.
I have.
Yeah,
I would
they're
say
everywhere
Shake
on the West
Shack,
Coast now. Mhm.
Shake Shack has better like stackables, whereas like In-N-Out is like more in my mind fast food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay,
We
ladies.
totally got off topic.
I know.
Ladies,
it's all good.
so let's take 30 seconds and go finish up the conversations. I want to stay. We'll stay offline for a second, but Jamye, tell me, wrap me up in 30 seconds, and then Sarah, I'm gonna let you wrap me up.
Wrap you up in 30 seconds. Well, it'll take a lot longer than that, you know, given wrapping paper amounts and tape. Sorry. No, I want this to end. I want this lockout to end. I want the men to grow some balls, you know, and actually get something accomplished. And I swear on the good holy book that if a woman gets in there, I'm sure that they would make this end far faster than any man. And I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, but it's just the truth. We seem to get to the point a lot more, a lot faster than men do. So yeah, that's about it. And I just want baseball back. For goodness sake, give me my baseball.
Yes. Sarah.
Ditto. Listen. End of the day, like sports is kind of what brings this country together.
Yes.
Whether you're a man, woman, or you're not entirely sure, or you want to be whoever the hell you want to be. Mm-hmm. That's what this country was kind of based off of. And baseball is, sorry, football fans, I know Super Bowl weekend coming up. And talking about wrap it up, quite the halftime show we have coming for us right now. But I digress.
Sorry, I'm not a fan of football anymore.
It's okay.
Give me rugby.
Girl, we should talk. I am a huge rugby fan, but we again a talk for another
digress.
No, but truly, baseball, it's summer, it's family, it's what we're all about.
It's hot dogs and beer. Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, MLB, hear it today. Grow up. It's just a couple 100,000. Shut up. Go to work and put on a great freaking season for us. Let's go.
Giddy up.
I like it.
Oh, Top Fans, this has been the most lively interview we've had, and this has been so much fun. Sarah, thank you. Jamye, thank you. We'll look forward to seeing how people feel about this. I'm sure that once this goes out on social media, it's going to go crazy. So I'm going to love it. But I appreciate you both ladies being on. This will be up on YouTube too. For those of you Top Fans listening to it on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to our Top Fan YouTube page. So ladies, can we do this again sometime?
Yeah.
Awesome. You guys are awesome. Thanks for joining us tonight, and enjoy this for those of you listening to the podcast.
Bye.